Brilliant. Okay, hello, thank you.
Hello.
So just to give our students that first little bit of context and get to know you a little bit, it would be lovely if you could just introduce yourselves and just let us know a little bit about your background.
Okay. My name's Letitia. I am a graduate of NTU's Creative Writing MA 3 years ago. I'm a poet. I do creative writing workshops and organise a lot of spoken word events.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. What's it like when you come back to NTU now as a graduate?
I've been back to a different place in NTU every time, so it's really interesting because every time I go in there it's like, oh, there's another bit.
Brilliant. So you feel like you're getting to know all the crevices, all the secret parts of it. Mm-hmm. If you could show us just a little bit about your process, the creative process that goes into writing your poems.
Well, first of all, something will enter my head. Now, sometimes that's from a writing prompt, sometimes it's from a visual prompt, sometimes it's from a workshop. Mm-hmm. Mostly it's just when something enters my head. I might see something and notice it, or just start thinking about something. It can come from the original inspiration can come from anywhere. I always carry a notepad and pen in my handbag and write things down. And then at some point after that I'll sit down at the computer, transfer it to something legible on the computer, and then decide it's finished, then it's definitely not finished. So after that I would edit it, and that could take 10 minutes to 2 years. I would do some peer mentoring. I'm part of the DIY poetry group, and we have monthly meetups where we get together and do some informal sharing. I've also got some other peer poets that I share with and get feedback from. So after you've got your feedback, sit down and edit it again and rearrange it.
So that's one of the processes we always talk to our students about being critical. It's that being open to share your work as it's in progress and constantly let that feedback kind of help shape it. Just enough to kind of push you outside of just one way of viewing things, or like that comfortable way of viewing things. So it's brilliant to hear that that's still a big part of your process.
It became easier after when I was at Trent and I did the creative writing modules and the poetry module in particular. I'd never had close critiquing of my work like that before, and it was petrifying, absolutely petrifying at the beginning, but by the end of it, now I'm like, oh, I wish I had my poetry group here so they could just go over this with me. So it makes a big difference.
It's something as well, it's not naturally something people can always do. You have to learn the skills of how to critique and be honest and helpful. And to accept, yeah. And it can take time to get that skill of giving honest but helpful feedback. So yeah, hopefully we're nurturing that in our groups too. So were there any specific thoughts, or going into your selection of the 5 poems, was there anything that unified them when you were picking?
Yes, I mean, I've got a couple of collections out, and I thought, oh, maybe I could take some from those collections and that'd be really good. But then I thought, there's another set of work that I would really like to work with. But when I was looking at it, I wasn't happy with those poems, so they're not at that point yet. And there's a lot of awareness raising at the minute, and a little bit more talking about the effects of menopause, and menopause in the workplace, and menopause generally. But really what's not always clear to everybody, it's not menopause that's the issue, because that's when you come to the end of it, and that's fine. It's the perimenopause, which is the build-up. So all of these poems relate to the perimenopause process and the frustrations, and I was quite annoyed and angry because that happens when you're menopausal, and so you've got all these poems, all these bloody poems.
I know the title of the collection was I loved it when that email came through. I was like, this is great. I think it's going to be really interesting seeing how a group of young designers really handle that information, and even just the task of knowing they have to research this and making sure that they aren't just kind of going off of intuition or anything with it, but working with something that matters and is going to, again, force them into a position of being a little bit more interrogative and research-driven. It's a good, very nice selection.
Well, one of the, I can't remember which university it might be Loughborough, it might not be. One of the Midlands universities was one of the first universities to have menopause in the workplace policy. And they've got a policy of using the word menopause 3 times a day for staff to do that, just to make it a normalisation process. And I think that's really important, because if you only find out about it once you're in it, it's a bit too late, really. So it should be something that everybody, all ages, find out a bit more about.
Exactly, and just to know that I think that normalisation of language, the power of language, is really important, and all the stigma that comes with things that has to still be dispersed. If anything, like that could be a really wonderful thing for our students to kind of work with in this project, is, you know, almost using your poems as kind of a campaign-driven piece of communication to say, let's talk. Yeah, who knows?
That'd be great. Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. It is honestly wonderful to have you in. If you don't mind, if there was 1 or 2 of the poems in particular you'd like to read, just so that we get that lovely intonation and the delivery, it'd be great to hear them from you.
Will do. Bloody relations. When we began, I didn't make much fuss, just wiped the marks and got on. And the moaning began. The grumbling was like an aching thorn in my side. Not every time. Mostly I could carry on whilst you niggled. But sometimes you really floored me. Anger screamed out of me and left me to mop up. Life moved on. We had 10 blissful months apart, whilst I travelled distant lands. But that absence caused grief too. My disbelieving mum, disappointed, devastated that I couldn't explain to her and admit the obvious. Till the safety of home released the build-up and the frustration flooded away. No relationship is easy. I shall read you one other poem as well, which actually has just been accepted for an anthology. Oh. So, this is a textbook. It's just the perimenopause, he said. It's quite normal, he said. It can last up to a decade or so, he said. The good news is that you're not menopausal, he said. At that moment, I wished him woman.